It's not what he's feeling, but he signed a real fight.
So it's for sure.
Yes, the contract that we signed is a real fight.
Real fight. Okay. Yeah, because I know he
I
said
want to
those things.
fight. I want to fight an exhibition.
No exhibition.
Is looking shaky, to say the least, for Mayweather versus Pacquiao. Now you have an interview with ESPN and Floyd Mayweather Promotions' new and current CEO.
I talked. I retired from the sport, and I didn't let the sport retire me. I'm always gonna put myself. I'm putting myself in a position now, to where just like I was doing when I was fighting.
So the first official Netflix press conference for Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao just went down, and from everything people who were there are saying, it got extremely heated, extremely fast. The event reportedly took place at the Sphere in Las Vegas, with Netflix executives, both fighters, and their full teams in the room. And according to insiders, the tension was there the second Floyd and Manny walked in. This wasn't the cordial, nostalgic reunion people were expecting. This was cold, intense, and it set the tone for everything heading into September 19th. Netflix apparently organized the press conference specifically to clear up the ongoing confusion. Is this a professional fight or just another exhibition? And right out of the gate, Netflix VP of Sports Gabe Spitzer stood up and made it plain, Floyd's 50-0 record is officially on the line. This is a sanctioned professional bout. Not a cash grab. According to people in that room, Spitzer reportedly said this is the biggest professional boxing match Netflix will ever stream.
And he didn't retire from boxing. There's a difference. So, of course, if I was Manny Pacquiao, would I be chasing Floyd Mayweather to do an exhibition to get a good payday? Absolutely. Absolutely I will. I'm going to continue to do what I want to do.
Now, Floyd's reaction to all of that? Stone cold silence, and not in a good way. People who were sitting in that room say Floyd looked visibly uncomfortable from the moment Spitzer started emphasizing the professional fight aspect. His whole body language shifted. Arms crossed, leaning back, refusing to make eye contact with anyone on that stage. Insiders say it was the first real sign that Floyd was not on board with how Netflix was framing this thing, and that disconnect was only going to get worse as the afternoon went on.
But like I said before, there's no blueprint on how to beat Floyd Mayweather, and he can tell you that himself. You're gonna have to take the whole room together. You're gonna have to put the whole world in the ring to beat me.
Manny, on the other hand, was the complete opposite. Reports from people in attendance say he was smiling, waving to media, and locking eyes with Floyd the entire time, almost like he was daring him to look away. Sources say Manny's team had come fully prepared, with specific talking points locked and loaded around the contract details, making absolutely sure Floyd couldn't find a way to wriggle out of the terms or reframe what was already agreed to in writing.
So that's a prestigious accomplishment in boxing, and I'm not trying to boast what I have accomplished in life, but I'm just saying this to repeat they might forget that accomplishment. So to be the greatest boxer in the world is to...
Then came the first media question, and that's when things started to unravel. An ESPN reporter went straight at Floyd, asking him point blank, does he consider this a professional fight, or is he still calling it an exhibition like he was saying just last week? According to witnesses, Floyd sat there in silence for several seconds before responding. An awkward, heavy silence that filled the entire room.
We joke, we plan. Until we get hit with one of those big shots, then there's no more joking. I retired for a reason. I'm here to have fun and enjoy.
And before Floyd could even finish his answer, Manny cut him off. Right there, live, in front of everyone. Sources say Manny grabbed his microphone and said clearly and loudly, "No, Floyd, the label matters because you signed a contract for a real fight. Stop lying to people." The room went dead quiet. People there say you could physically feel the tension spike in an instant. Floyd turned and stared at Manny, visibly furious. His team tried to step in and cool things down, but Floyd waved them off and leaned straight into his microphone.
This version of you beats the version of Floyd Mayweather that exists today?
You know,
it's hard to talk about the fighter who.
What came out of Floyd's mouth next was personal. Insiders say he responded with something along the lines of, "Manny, I already beat you once when it mattered. I embarrassed you in front of the entire world in 2015. Why would I need to prove anything to you again? You're just desperate for one more payday before you finally call it quits." Sources say Manny's face visibly flushed after those words. People watching said he immediately started responding in Tagalog before his translator stepped in and reminded him to keep it in English for the press.
That's the only strategy. So maybe he thinks that I'm going to take him lightly.
Do you think it has anything to do with the record, his record, that it might be in danger?
Oh yeah, just to make I think to make me easy, like the way I prepare, the way I train, like that. So
When Manny did collect himself, he went straight for Floyd's age. Reports suggest he said something close to, "You're 49 years old, Floyd. Your legs are gone. Your reflexes have slowed down. In 2015, I was fighting with a torn shoulder and you still barely got the decision on the scorecards. Now I'm completely healthy, and you're older. That's the real reason you're scared to call this a professional fight." The media immediately started firing follow-up questions, but Netflix's moderator stepped in to restore some order and redirect things. The contract itself became the next major flashpoint, with a reporter from The Athletic asking both fighters directly what the signed agreement actually says about the nature of the bout.
He got famous because they said this could be the guy that could possibly dethrone the king. Did it happen?
That's when Manny's promoter reportedly stood up, reached into his papers, and pulled out the actual physical contract right there in the room. Sources say he read directly from it, stating clearly that the bout is defined as a sanctioned professional fight under Nevada State Athletic Commission rules, with 3 judges scoring the contest and the result going on both fighters' official records. Floyd's legal team apparently did not see that coming. His lawyer reportedly requested an immediate sidebar with Floyd, and the two had what witnesses described as a tense, hushed exchange for about 30 seconds before Floyd waved him off too. Then Floyd leaned into his mic and said, "I don't care what the paper says. My legacy is already cemented at 50-0. Manny can't touch that, no matter what happens in September."
This is a pro fight. Yeah. This is a pro fight. This would have never happened on an exhibition. It would have never happened. Manny would never want to do an exhibition. That's just a no-no when it comes to Floyd, right? It's either a pro fight or...
Then the conversation shifted to money. A reporter asked both fighters to put a number on their guaranteed purses. Floyd wouldn't give a direct figure, but made a point of saying he's pulling in more than he did for the Conor McGregor fight back in 2017, which, for context, was somewhere in the neighborhood of $300 million. He made sure everyone in that room understood that Netflix knows exactly what his value is, and that he earns more in a single night than most fighters see across their entire careers.
I mean, that's usually what I heard from them. That I'm easy opponent, I'm easy to beat. But the thing is, when we get to the ring, it changes. It will change the way it is. And that's the thing. But really,
Manny's answer to that same question couldn't have been more different. Sources say he told the room he isn't in this for the money anymore. He's here to fix what happened in 2015, to give the fans the real fight they were robbed of the first time around. He brought up his torn shoulder from that bout, explaining how it prevented him from throwing his left-hand combinations properly. And then he looked straight ahead and said, "This time I'm 100% healthy. Floyd won't be able to run for 12 rounds like he did last time.
He won't be able to go to 8 or 10. Try to land a shot. I may not let him land one punch. It's all up to me. It's all on what I want to do. Remember, I'm the puppet master. I'm always in control.
Floyd did not let that one go. Sources say he stood straight up out of his chair, pointed at Manny, and fired back, running away. "I gave you a boxing lesson. I made you look like an amateur. The only reason you lasted 12 rounds is because I chose to give the fans their money's worth instead of stopping you early. People in attendance say security personnel immediately moved closer to the stage, reading the room and preparing for the possibility that things could go further than words.
Let my punches, my fists say anything in the ring. And before I end this, of course, we will work hard. We train hard for this fight. We were not gonna take him lightly or underestimate him.
The face-off was supposed to be the calm, composed finish to the afternoon, a few photos, a respectful moment, standard stuff. But after everything that had just gone down, there was nothing calm about it. Both men walked toward center stage slowly, eyes locked on each other the entire way, neither one blinking or showing any sign of backing down. When they finally met face to face, sources say the staredown lasted nearly 2 full minutes, which anyone who covers boxing will tell you is an unusually long time. At some point Floyd said something quietly that only Manny could hear. And Manny's response was to step even closer, until their foreheads were nearly touching. Security had to physically step between them and ease them apart after the separation. Manny raised his fist to the crowd. Floyd turned around without a word and walked straight off the stage, his team falling in behind him. He left the venue immediately. Manny stayed for another 10 minutes, doing one-on-ones with media, taking photos with Netflix executives, working the room. Within minutes of the event ending, clips of Manny calling Floyd a liar were everywhere online. Over 5 million views in the first hour. The Netflix hashtag was trending #1 globally on Twitter before the press conference had even properly wrapped. And honestly, from Netflix's perspective, this went exactly according to plan. The fight no longer feels like a nostalgia exhibition. It feels real. It feels personal. And that's worth everything in terms of selling a pay-per-view. Floyd's body language was the first thing analysts zeroed in on. Stephen A. Smith went on First Take and said Floyd looked caught off guard, uncomfortable in a way people aren't used to seeing from him. Stephen A. pointed out that Floyd has always controlled the narrative in these situations, but Manny walked in and flipped that dynamic completely, leaving Floyd looking reactive and defensive. He predicted that emotional energy carries into fight night and could push Floyd away from his usual disciplined game plan. Max Kellerman focused on the contract drama, arguing that a truly confident Floyd Mayweather wouldn't care what the fight is called, he'd just say he's going to win and move on. The fact that Floyd kept trying to downplay the professional nature of the bout, in Max's view, signals genuine concern about how competitive Manny might be, especially after that competitive draw with Mario Barrios. Teddy Atlas weighed in on the face-off, saying a nearly 2-minute stare-down isn't promotional theater, that's 2 men trying to crack each other psychologically before a single punch is thrown. He said this rematch feels more personal than 2015 because both fighters are carrying something they genuinely need to prove. Andre Ward noticed Floyd's closed-off body posture throughout, arms crossed, leaning back, and said that's not how a confident elite fighter sits. Ward suggested Floyd may already be second-guessing the decision to sign for a professional bout rather than an exhibition. The betting lines moved almost immediately. Floyd had opened as a -220 favorite. After the press conference, he drifted to -180. Manny moved from +180 down to +150. Sportsbooks reported a noticeable surge of action coming in on Pacquiao, bettors apparently reading Manny's composure and Floyd's discomfort as meaningful signals about how this fight might actually play out. Both camps went into damage control mode shortly after. Floyd's team released a statement saying he was just having fun with the media and his comments were being taken out of context, while also trying to quietly walk back the exhibition framing without making it too obvious. Manny's team did the exact opposite. They immediately pushed clips of the contract moment and Manny's legacy comments everywhere they could, positioning Manny as the honest fighter standing his ground and painting Floyd as someone trying to protect an undefeated record he's suddenly not so confident about. That narrative, Manny as the straightforward warrior, Floyd as the evasive businessman, plays perfectly into the underdog framing and the Filipino fighting spirit that has followed Pacquiao his entire career. Netflix internally was reportedly thrilled. The goal was simple: make people care. Make the fight feel like it means something beyond the paycheck. And by every measure, this press conference delivered that and then some. They're now reportedly planning additional events in multiple cities to keep the momentum building all the way through to September. Filipino media went wall to wall with coverage, framing Manny's confrontation as a matter of national pride, as their champion standing up to disrespect and finally getting the rematch the country has wanted since 2015. American outlets took a different angle, focusing more on the contradiction of Floyd's public statements versus what the contract actually says, and what that gap might reveal about his confidence heading into the biggest fight of this chapter of his career.